Hi, everyone. Hi, Rod. Um, so my conversion story is actually a lifelong one, and it starts from when I was really little. So my parents, my dad was raised Catholic, my mother was raised Protestant, and for them to be allowed to get married, my mom had to convert to Catholicism. So we were raised Catholic, my brother and I, up until gosh, probably around age 10. But with each holiday, we would go and go to church with my other set of grandparents, so my mom's parents. Um, and there was a difference, and it never made sense to me, even from when I was little, as to why, if only one true thing happened, why are there so many different religions? So, being the inquisitive child that I was, I asked my grandfathers that question, and both of them shut me down really quickly. You just don't ask those things. So I just kind of went on and still had that question in the back of my mind. When I was 10, we moved schools, so elementary school, and I went from a lower income school to more of a prestigious one, but I didn't really fit in. So I was put with this young lady. Her name was Michelle. I was 10 years old. And this teacher put me with Michelle because she knew she would be nice, and she was. And she just had something a little bit different about her. Then this elementary school is really close to the church in our area. And so there were a lot of kids in my grade that were LDS. And they all ended up becoming my friends because they were so nice. There was definitely something different about them. So from age 10 all the way through high school, all of my friends were members of the church. And I knew a little bit, asked a little bit, ended up going to church a couple of times, going to seminary a few times, then went away to college. Was in college, didn't really have, there weren't any members there. It was a small community college up north in northern Missouri. After 3 semesters, didn't really know what I wanted to do, decided to come home and reconnected with some of my friends that were LDS. We ended up going to the young single adult ward, which was called the singles ward at that time, and met the sister missionaries there. Didn't really get involved with lessons, but eventually agreed to it. I don't remember what the first lesson was about, but I know that I agreed to a second one. In the second lesson, they taught about the Great Apostasy and the Restoration. And it was during this lesson, it was an object lesson. They had a plate that was broken into many pieces, and on each of those pieces, a different religion was written on each little piece. And they talked about the apostasy and how when Jesus was on the earth, the true church was on the earth. And then people liked and disliked some things, and took those bits and pieces and went off on their own. And then the restoration is when all of those pieces were put back together. And they took each one of those pieces of the plate, put it back to make the whole plate, and explained that that is what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is. It's the true and full restored gospel. And that answered my question from the time that I was little. And I didn't need any more. And I was baptized on June 9th, 1996, right before my 20th birthday. And I've been a member ever since. There's been times where my testimony has wavered, and there's things that have come up that have made me question, but it all goes back to that question that I had from when I was little that I was taught, and it all makes sense. So the foundation of my testimony is on the restoration. So then going to how this came about, Rodney posted, or Elder Stott posted on his Facebook page this video, and I shared with him my conversion story, which I had not done before. And we just talked a little bit, and that's exactly when the new Preach My Gospel for You Guys has come out, and it is in chapter 9, when it points out that finding what will happen according to a person's readiness to hear the gospel, that your efforts to find may bear fruit after you have been transferred or even after your mission. And I'd like to add that it may even take 10 years. But I'm so grateful for the people in my life and for the seeds that were planted along the way, and for my Father in heaven, who has been in every single detail of my life, which is obvious when we now get to meet and talk to Elder and Sister Oaks, who know my in-laws and love them just like we do. That's my story.